In some ways, this is a very murky Christmas for the British royal family. No Andrew at Christmas festivities for the first time since he returned from the Falklands War. The shadow of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who wanted to act like they had received an invite, and we'll get to that very shortly, hangs over these celebrations too. Not to mention Charles's ongoing battle with cancer and the fact that William and Catherine have made the decision not to attend the Christmas lunch with the King after tomorrow's church service, although they did show last week, didn't they, for the big festivities with the extended family at Buckingham Palace. What do you think's going on behind the scenes at Sandringham today, P. Dinah? Are they able to put all of it behind them?
I think they are just going through a transition. There's been a lot of things that have been happening within the family. They have to find their new normal. And it's just a matter of just trying to work through all the murkiness of everything that has been going on with the family. I mean, William has got his extended family, and he's trying to balance both of those, responsibilities. I just think it's something that they have to work out for themselves, and it's just a transition that a lot of families have to find a balance between, not so publicly, but nonetheless, this is what they have to do, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of trying to do that.
What about Harry and Meghan and what has been exposed, P. Dinah, as a real PR ploy? And I want to take you through this very, very good work that has been done by HRH Lady J on this topic. Okay, half of you watching this are not subscribed to Dan Wootton Outspoken, and the best way you can support what we do is by hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free, and turn on the notification bell to be alerted to our new episodes. Just as expected, and right on cue, the Sussex PR machine lurches back in force, full throttle, still scrambling to pivot from recent misfires while dragging out the same tired reconciliation script yet again. Rinse and repeat. Same moment, same script, every single year. Predictable. The coverage rolls out on cue, carefully crafted to cast them as wronged and wounded, sidelined and exiled. We're expected to swallow the familiar mix of hurt, fragile hope and performative longing. This year's added flourish is a claim of alienation over the missing invitation. They're yearning for a Christmas at Sandringham, and the family has cruelly barred the door. They're always presented as hopeful, open, and willing to go if invited. We all know that's nonsense, but it never interrupts the narrative being sold. Then, when no invitation appears, the language shifts. Suddenly, it's snubbed, cold shoulder, alienated, tipped over the edge. The blame lands on the royals and the tone hardens as it does every year. No one is falling for what Team Sussex is selling. And actually, she's put together an incredible group of headlines, a batch of headlines, which we can see here, which absolutely illustrates her point. And she goes on to say, these stories appear every early November and run straight through the Christmas season. There's always a hint that this might finally be the year, that relationships are thawing, that an invite could still arrive. The subtext is obvious. The royal family is meant to look cold and unfeeling, while the missing invitation is spun as something done to them rather than the predictable result of their own behaviour. This year, she points out, there's a new twist in the Thor narrative, zeroing in on King Charles and cynically exploiting his cancer to push it. It's cruel, manipulative, and utterly shameless. Out come the headlines straight from the Sussex PR printer. King Charles allegedly open to reconciliation with his estranged son. King Charles cancer battle latest and how he is poised to invite Harry and Meghan for one last Christmas. King Charles allegedly considering inviting Harry and Meghan. These stories are sent out to anyone who will print them, recycled endlessly in the hope repetition makes them seem credible. Journalism isn't the point, it's attention-seeking at its most distasteful. Here's the part that makes the whole exercise so painfully transparent. Sandringham invitations go out in October. By October and early November, they already know there's no invite coming. Senior royals' attendance is a given, but extended family and guests are invited months in advance. Palace aides send out feelers and formal invitations early autumn. That's how it's always worked. In 2024, invitations reportedly went out in mid-October. In 2025, the same, October again. This isn't accidental. A Christmas gathering of 40 to 45 people under King Charles requires months of planning. By mid-December, invitees have had their invitation for 2 to 3 months. Everyone involved knows who's coming and who isn't. By late November and December, the ending is baked in. It has been that way every year from 2020 through 2025. What changes is the spin. The wording gets tweaked, the surrounding circumstances shift slightly, but the structure is identical and the outcome never varies. It's dull, it's formulaic, and it's utterly predictable. We all know they're not getting an invite. We know what comes next. Another round of narrative control, another grab for sympathy, the same tired victim card swiped right on schedule. P. Dinah, I think her research here is absolutely spot on when you look at those headlines. And it does feel like it has stepped up a gear this year. And Harry and Meghan are very much using King Charles's cancer in that meeting in September to try and paint some type of reconciliation, lie about some form of contact, which, let's be honest, the King's own team at Buckingham Palace have dismissed as laughable.
Yeah. These are the kind of games and just issues that the royals have with Meghan and Harry. And let's just keep it real. It's all Meghan, right? She is the one that is doing this. She's the manipulator. Harry just sits by and allows her to do what she does. But it's like these are the reasons why they will never get an invitation because of what Meghan is doing here. She's always plotting something. She's always putting out lies. She's trying to, move the narrative towards what she wants it to be to help her. And she doesn't care about, the royals and, what they're doing. It's all about Meghan trying to craft something to help her brand. And this is why they'll never be welcomed back. And if Harry were smart, he would put a stop to this. He would try to take the narrative away from his wife because he has he's trying to get back in with his family. But how could that ever happen if your wife is manipulating things behind the scenes and creating falsehoods? Like this is something that is definitely going to keep them out. And that's what Meghan wants. I believe she wants to never go back and give Harry false hope that they will go back, but it will never happen because of what Meghan is doing. Harry needs to wake up out of his slumber and really put his foot down and do more work in his own home to get back to his family because Meghan is going to sabotage it every chance she gets. By this research here, it is laid out bare for him to see. Will he heed this advice? Will he find out at some point that his wife is the manipulator and the problem so that he can get back to what he wants? Because she's the one controlling everything.
And do you think that he doesn't know? Or do you think he is convinced by her that this type of spin and this type of warfare in the MSM is necessary?
I think I don't think Harry really is all in on this with Meghan. I really don't. Because she did it to him. Like she did things to Harry behind his back that were in direct relation to her trying to manipulate Harry that he didn't even know about. So he's not going to know about the manipulation that she's doing towards his family. I don't think he's in on it at all. I think he's very klug about all of this, to be quite honest. Harry seems to be, he has lost his way. He doesn't know if he is coming or going. This is a man that does not have any clear direction. He's trying what he can do to get back with his family. And outside of that, trying to understand what your wife is doing, her manipulation, I think he doesn't have an idea or any real clue to what his wife is capable of doing. He doesn't live in that world. Meghan has lived in a world of trying to break walls down. She's a woman who has been manipulating things for a very long time. And it's just in her DNA to do these things. Harry doesn't have this within him to even, I think, really truly understand it. He relies on her to do things in a very blind kind of way. Like, okay, she's doing things. I don't know what it is. Let me do what I'm doing. And he doesn't get it. I really don't think he does.
100%. And the thing is, P. Dina, when you think about it, the perfect word that you've used is sabotage. Because what it means is that to his face, she can keep pretending. Oh, no, of course I want you to have a great relationship with your papa. Oh, no, of course I want you to spend more time in the United Kingdom. And if you get security, yeah, I'll come. Yeah, of course you can bring the children if you get security. Of course.
Right.
Yet then she is able to immediately use the paid PR team to trample all over any progress that was made, which you saw happened within days of September. And indeed, I was so delighted, P. Dina, when we finally saw those reports a couple of weeks ago from the King's PR team at Buckingham Palace, that's where I believe it was from, by the way, to the Times newspaper, which is considered the newspaper of record, saying all of this PR spin from Harry is laughable. I mean, I'd been saying that right since the meeting, that there was fury at the palace over the fact that the details of the meeting were leaked. Do you remember Harry even spun a yarn, or Meghan probably spun a yarn, let's be honest, to Us Weekly, saying that, that there were tears and they sort of ran across the room in slow motion
Right.
to each other with big hugs. And it's like, it's just not true. But first, I want to quickly shout out a tool I genuinely use every day, Surfshark. We live in a time where governments, big tech, and opportunistic hackers are constantly trying to track, log, and monetize what we do online. And here in the UK, we've even seen some sites and journalism, including work from us here at Outspoken, get shoved behind the so-called Online Safety Act. That's exactly why I run Surfshark VPN on all my devices. It keeps what I do online private, helps me push back against censorship, and lets me watch the shows and news I pay for, wherever I am, including when I'm abroad and something mysteriously disappears from the UK library. But Surfshark isn't just a simple VPN. It's more like a full security toolkit for your browser. The Clean Web feature strips out intrusive ads, aggressive trackers, malware, and dodgy phishing links, so pages load cleaner, faster, and with a lot less junk. If your VPN connection ever drops, the kill switch instantly cuts your internet connection so your real details don't suddenly spill out. And if you want certain apps like your online banking to bypass the VPN entirely, Bypasser lets you do that in just a couple of clicks. Surfshark has over 3,200 servers in 100 countries, so you can hop around virtual locations in seconds. That's useful not just for content, but also for hunting down better prices online. I've even managed to get cheaper flights this way. And you can install Surfshark on unlimited devices, so one plan can cover you, your partner, the kids, the whole home. If you want to lock down your data, protect your online freedom, and support Outspoken at the same time, head to surfshark.com/outspoken or use the code outspoken at checkout to get an extra 4 months of Surfshark VPN. That's surfshark.com/outspoken, using the code outspoken for an extra 4 months on us. But now, back to the show.
Right. He is so lost. And it's really sad, Dan, because we're all watching this. We can see the manipulation. And Megan is just going to keep doing this because this is what she is relying on to get to some kind of, I guess, life that she wants to have eventually. She feels that she has to do all of this. And Harry is blindsided, I think, by a lot of it, but not to give him an excuse. But he really, I think, is someone who is the victim of his own wife. He has gotten himself in a predicament that we all saw coming before there was even Megxit. We saw it in the very beginning. He hasn't seen it from when it started. So it's going to take him a while to wake up to his reality, but he is the one that is going to be suffering the most through all of this because I can only imagine the other things that are going to be coming down that Megan
Yes.
is planning, you know?
But P.
It's
Dina,
really
where the
sad.
manipulation works and where obviously Meghan has been very strategic is that he does hate the media. He hates the press with a visceral
Right.
passion. So she knows That if she can just blame these leaks, oh, it's just the terrible media again, he's going to
Mhm.
be suckered. And he is constantly suckered.
Yeah, he is someone that wants to stay clear of what he doesn't like. He's not in that world. Megan's all about that. And so he's leaving it up to her to take care of. And at the same time, he is the victim to what Megan is doing with the media, with all the PR lies. And what can he do about it, really? But when he doesn't really understand that world or want anything to do with it. I mean, just look at all the lawsuits and things that he has done. Like, we question so many things, all of Harry's choices around these lawsuits, and he just doesn't understand, I think, how all of this works. He had a whole team in the royal family doing all of this for him, and suddenly he has to be the one paying attention to the media and trying to understand, how he can file all these lawsuits and, what he can try to get out of it. Before this was all taken care of for him. So I think Harry is just a victim to his circumstances at this point, really. Meghan is going to run with it, and I don't think it's going to get any better for him.
No, it's really not. Then at the same time, P. Diner, of course, there will be sadness at Sandringham, even though there are senior members of the royal family, especially Prince William, who are furious with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. There will be sadness that a member of the family, a blood relative, is not there for the first time in a long time. It's something that would have devastated Queen Elizabeth II. Let's be honest, it's not something King Charles wanted to do. It's something that was forced on him. How do you feel about it? And should there have been a separation where the king was still able to spend Christmas Day with his beloved, if troubled, younger brother without it turning into a public firestorm? Or was William right? Which is that it doesn't matter what you think, Papa, personally, PR is everything in our game,
Yeah.
and it's just impossible to have Andrew at any royal event.
Yeah, you have to understand this is a family that is very public. It is on a world stage, and your private life somehow becomes, a part of the story on a world stage, and you just have to, find a balance. And I think the balance that's going to help the institution is to draw that line, and he has to be on the outside as much as the king probably doesn't like that, or feels, I know, I'm sure he feels sorry for his brother in some kind of way. It just has to be this way because this is the kind of life that they have as very public people. I think it will get sad though during their time together. I mean, you think about the daughters, right, and their children as they get older, asking questions about, well, where's, grandpa? And, there are things that are going to probably be very touchy around discussions with the younger generation. But hey, this is just what it has to be. And Andrew has to find a new way of tradition for him and his new life because it's not going to be a part of his family like it used to be, And this is the consequences of your choices, and he is paying for it in a very big way, and it just has to be that way.
And what about Catherine and William deciding tomorrow to be with the Middletons after the church service? Do you understand that? Should the Middletons be invited to Sandringham? Is that the way that things could be modernized?
I think so, but I think also they may want to not go to Sandringham. I think they may want to have their own family time. I'm sure they have their distant family as well. I mean, I think it's a good choice for William to do that because he is finding a balance between both of his, worlds, and I think he sees something completely different from his own family, and he can see what it's like for just regular everyday families like the Middletons, and how they celebrate and what they do. And I think it's welcoming thing for William to see this because it's so different. And I'm sure he loves it. I mean, I can imagine how different life is with the Middletons compared to what William is used to. And so having that break from his own family, William, to the Middletons, I can see him, being very grateful for their family life and that extension of his family because they seem like such a nice family and so family oriented. And I'm sure the laughs of, things that happen in their lives around just regular everyday things is something that William welcomes. I'm happy for him and his extended family life.
And P. Dinah, how do you celebrate? Because I was honored to meet your lovely son at Lady Colin
Oh.
Campbell's ball in the summer, but he's in Germany, right? So does that mean that you're separated on Christmas Day?
Well, he's actually here now. He's actually going to be leaving. He
Amazing.
comes a lot. He flies. He's always been that way since he was 5 years old. So, no, he will be gone though. He leaves actually a day before Christmas, and we're going to be with my husband's family. So it's something we're used to because we've been doing it like this for so many years. So, but that's so nice of you, Dan, to say. Yes, I'm so happy you got a chance to meet my
Yeah,
son. He's really a
what a
sweet boy.
lovely man he is. And what do you eat, P. Dinah? Because it's hot, right, where you are?
It's cold.
Oh, is
It
it?
is, yeah, it's so cold right now, but it's something that we're used to. That this year has been more cold than previous years. I love it though. I lived in LA for so many years,
Yeah, well, you
and I
don't really
just
get a
didn't like
winter
the hot.
Christmas.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. And I lived in Florida, which is like really hot. I love the snow. I love the cold weather. I love being cozy at home and just being by the fireplace. It's a
And do you do
time
a
for me
turkey?
to
Are you a
relax.
traditionalist like that?
No, no, no. We just whatever it is that my in-laws are cooking is what I'm eating, right?
And you're just
That's what
happy
I
not to
do.
have to do the cooking. Well, look, I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow, P. Dinah. And of
Thank
course, we will
you.
see you on New Year's Eve to reveal the most shocking royal moments of 2025. So do get thinking. But a quick
Yeah.
programming note tomorrow, we will be with you on Christmas Day, midday UK time. Lady Colin Campbell is going to reveal her second annual awards. We wanted to do it on Christmas Day so that we could spend some time with you. Obviously, it's a really important day for so many of us, but also